Quick! If you can remember how to pause stuff, go for it if you want to. If you can remember how to pause stuff, go for it if you want to. Okay, so I took off my shirt when I went to shave, right? I have such a big red, like, inverted V over my nipple. Oof! New 10 episode season. Alright, oof, we got squished! What are you doing? Kinda sus. He's just jumping up and down on your corpse. What the fuck, Harry? Yeah, he's just got a slight headache, you know? Just... This game doesn't have a jump button. I mean, dude, if I'm fucking... If 9 horse cocks is 6 of my cocks, like, bro, that's a 1 to 1.3 ratio, dude. I'm not 30% smaller than a horse, dude. That's insane. Oh my god. The star said you would come.
Means for the trial of the teeth, don't you think? Oh, right. It might even be the nut who made this sticky yummy
It might even be the nut who made the sticky, yummy threat. Man. Hey, my camera's pointed at my belly and not at my dick. I'm awake. Hello, everyone. So, hi. Can you hear me? Everything good? Good morning. Yeah, so it's 5:03. Hello.
Stop for a sec.
Hey, yo, wait, what? Pilot is inside you all along? We all know Johnny had a girlfriend, he just likes to cap. Of course, it's just me trying to be, to look more innocent and inexperienced. For fuck's sake! To potentially... I wanna die! I wanna die! Pain. Ooh, a golden shower? Fuck, no! In my arms that I might reach you. Man. Bruh.
How you can make your own future. And we are here making stupid memes.
Not the tree in the middle.
Really?
Tree.
Burn your tongue again.
Tree.
I'll stand up.
Tree.
I'll stand up, okay? Okay, there you go. There you go. Nothing there, right? No, oh god, no, you can... Ah! It's so sick.
Oof. Hey, yo. The fuck? Let me just stand next to the yellow one. Oi, yellow boy. Get back here. Thing that you sacrificed the guy in. And these are the similar enemies. No way! No! No! Oh my god! Oh! No! 6:45, yes or no? Did it work? Oh yeah! Yo, what up, what up? Hi Charlotte, welcome in. Hope you're doing good today. We got Alan Wake And we're finishing the middle-aged white man simulator today. Will we play the second white man simulator? Well, I don't have the game, so... Not yet, at least. I'm doing right. How about you? I am doing well. I'm doing good. I just had some smoked salmon, so I be vibing. Smoked salmon be yummy. Otherwise, yeah. Not much else going on. I woke up at like 8 PM today. That was fun. So I tried to fix my schedule by like waking up at like 1 PM in the afternoon. I was like, okay, I do want to get some sun. Like, you know, go outside, go for a walk in the sunlight, you know, get the vitamin D, get the benefits of, you know, a little bit of like light cardio and all. And then, instead of doing that, I was up and I was just so fucking tired. I tried to stay awake and I just watched TV for 2 or 3 hours and then I fell back asleep and then I woke up at 8 PM and I was like, you know what? Great. I got a job interview tomorrow. The KFC didn't call me back, but the AMC did. And I got $52 in my bank account, so I'm filthy rich. Let's fucking go. In bed is crazy, right? Hey, Taco, what up, man? Welcome. How you doing? I hope you're doing good today. In bed is great, yeah. I'm filthy rich in bed. I mean, hey, would you guys rather be filthy rich in your bank account or filthy rich in bed? I wonder what filthy rich in bed means. Maybe you have the partner of your dreams? Maybe you have the body of your dreams? I think your bot is stalking me. Yeah, fuck's sake. Bed bot, why? Bank in count. Yes.
What the fuck?
Account. Good old banking count. Yeah, bank count is surrounded by money in bed. Or that, yeah, I mean, then if you're surrounded by money in bed, then like you don't have to report that to the tax man, right? Whereas if it's in your bank account, you do. So I mean, thinking about it that way, maybe that's like the big brain play. Maybe. Who knows? My food should be here in 20-30 minutes. Sick, runner. Nice. Guys, clock in if you haven't already. Make sure you guys clock in every stream for the internet point. Right, we don't know what we're talking about here. Oh man, I haven't actually ever filled out a tax return. I probably will have to do it next year. Well, for this year's. Clock in, let's go. I got some good old... I refuse to ever clock in. Fair enough then. Clock in with my cock out, exactly. Cock. I got some little... I will only ever cock in. Well, you know, actually in the code of my bot, it's labeled as cock in. It's only in the Twitch that it's named clock in. Don't the IRS find you this year? I know, right? Luckily I'm British, so it'd be the HMRC. Yes. HMRC. Which is the British IRS. Exactly, a devious secret. It's like, those who know, because if you want to know how many times you've clocked in, you go, I believe it's Cockins. Yeah, there you go. Jolly SFX has cocked in 204 times. They are number 1 on the leaderboard. In bed! Fucking amazing. His Majesty's the rich cunts, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That is pretty much it. Camiego. In bed. I mean, Camiego is just doing its job. It didn't even do the cumbot thing. It hasn't done it yet. I wonder what's the first message it's going to come. Did I fix it? Because I did set it to 2.5% chance and that broke it. Then I set it to 3 and then I think that fixed it. So it is set to 3. Okay. So let's see. Will it come any of these messages? I judge by the skin tone. Nice. No, oh, there you go. She come, I had a pre-cumpty head. She come, I had a pre-cumpty head. Nice. That other one is just Raven. Wrap it up literally in bed. She come, I had a pre-cumpty head. The other one is just something Raven said. That isn't even a cummified message. A cummified message is a crazy thing to say. I think I'm getting a little sick. Annoyingly enough. I was working out earlier and then I just couldn't give it my all. It might have been because it was leg day and I don't like training legs. So, yeah. I only did like 2 sets of squats and then 2 sets of Romanian deadlifts and then like 1 set of kettlebell swings. It's like for push day, I go all out, you know, incline press. Bench press, machine press, dumbbell press, etc. I go hard. Then shoulder press, then lateral raises. That's my like push day. Then pull day, I just get like resistance bands and pull in like every angle, then do bent over barbell rows. And I try and do, I can't do pull-ups yet, but then I get on my like little pull-up bar and then just like do the little mini pull-ups, the scapular pull-ups. Until I get strong enough to do like an actual pull-up, or get light enough to do an actual pull-up. One of the two, they'll cross over eventually. But right now, I just try. I just do the little mini sort of pull-ups. And then it's just like, yeah, for fucking leg day, it's like, I don't want to. Thank you for the tissue, Charlotte. I don't normally use tissues. Whenever I need to just blow my nose, I go to the sink and do it. But right now, I feel like my voice doesn't sound as good as it normally does. In my ears, it just sounds kind of nasally, annoyingly enough. Ah, frustrating. Whenever I wake up, my throat kind of hurts a little bit. It is what it is. What's weird is that I spent all this time around people at university. My friend was always ill, and I always spent time with her and be like, and she's like, no, don't get too close to me, I'll get you sick. And I'm like, no, don't worry, I won't get sick. And then I didn't get sick. But at the moment, maybe I'm having withdrawal symptoms from her. Who the fuck knows? Maybe she was my vaccine. It's like the moment I'm just at home doing nothing. It's like, I got the sniffles. Funny how guys have a hard time doing leg days and women have a harder time doing arm days and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense that, like, I believe women have, like, a lot less upper body strength, but their lower body strength is, like, pretty comparable. Like, I don't think it's as close, but it's pretty comparable. Plus, women have a more focus on those muscles. Like, I do not want big legs. Sounds like heroin withdrawal. That's crazy. Because, like, I used to have big legs. They weren't, like, muscle. They were, like, I just have a lot of muscle in my legs. Like, I've definitely lost a lot of muscle in my, like, weight loss. But, like, I mean, that's, you're gonna lose a lot. You're gonna lose a lot of muscle when you lose weight. Like, that happens. The heroin rules. Time to kick the fuck out of someone for no reason. Incredibly based. But, like, I kind of like how my legs are kind of slim now. Like, I don't want them to be, like, stick legs. Because, I mean, I still have pretty thick legs. Like, you know. I still got, like, a decent amount of muscle, but it's, like, you know, it's a lot easier to buy trousers and, like, jeans and stuff now than it used to be. Like, before I used to buy, like, really big ones and, like, wear a belt really tightly and stuff, and now I can just buy, like, regular, you know, 36-inch waist, trousers, and it just fits. And I really like that, so I do, like a little bit of leg training, but I don't want them to become really big. Like, I want my arms to become bigger, right? I lost quite a bit of arm size, but, you know, I'd like bigger arms, I'd like a bigger chest, bigger shoulders, bigger back, but I don't want bigger legs. I just want my legs to be strong and toned. Kirk's video where they talk about how much better heroin is than fentanyl and basically glazing the fuck out of heroin. I haven't. But I've seen some of those videos where it's like why something is so good, why X, Y, and Z is so good, etc., right? Those kinds of videos. And there was one that was like why heroin is so good or why fentanyl is so good. It was one of those two, right? Yes, it's wild. Are they basically saying why heroin feels better or why heroin is better, like, for your health? What the fuck? Had me wanting to try heroin before I realized what the fuck am I thinking. That's crazy. It feels like a promotional video for heroin. Let's react to that then. What's it called? Is it why fentanyl is so good or why heroin is so good? Fuck, transaction declined? Huh? Oh shit, that's not good. I've gone over my credit limit. Let me just make a payment then real quick. It's Kyrgyzstan's newest video. Okay. Like, I saw this one I recommended, why fentanyl feels so good. So I'm assuming it's this one then, right?
Fentanyl must be amazing.
Let me just make my little payment to my credit card. Available credit minus £43. Well, that's not good. I really have to work hard and sell a bunch of this shit over summer. Two separate things. How much money do I have in my bank? 341. Okay. Make payment 250. It's like I didn't work at all over the last month of university because I was just so busy with like my performances and stuff. And that's put me in a rough place financially. That's in £1 million. Yeah, of course. 100%.
Amazing. Loads of people.
I have £10 million in debt on to American Express.
Pursuits, homes, their dignity, and even their lives. But
Okay, good, yeah.
fentanyl is garbage heroin, inferior in every single way but one. It's
Okay.
the perfect drug for dealers. And while we hear a lot about how deadly fentanyl is, many people it kills are not even fentanyl addicts. It's truly the dumbest drug to ruin your life for. Let's learn what fentanyl does to you, what it feels like, and why it's so much lamer than heroin. Pain and pleasure. Maybe the two most important forces that guide our survival are pain and pleasure. Pain may be the most visceral physical experience. A claw ripping your flesh, a bone cracking, rejection eating your soul. Pain can be scary and unbearable. It's the strongest signal our bodies have to make us avoid harm. Pleasure is what makes life good because it feels, well...
Fohammer, what up, man?
Eating things
Hi.
sweet or high fat, having sex, or opening another booster pack with your friends. Anything that makes you feel pleasure makes you want to do it again. These two opposing forces guide you through life. Pain shouts, "Stop, this is bad."
Heroin,
Pleasure
absolute
cheers,
pleasure.
"More, do that again." But while they are opposites, they're also linked. Sometimes our body needs to end pain and create pleasure at the same time. After giving birth, pain gets toned down and the mother is showered in happy hormones so she can bond with the newborn child.
But that's
During an
good.
intense hunt, the hunter forgets the physical exhaustion and minor injuries. Both are technically not great experiences, but need to be repeated for our survival. And nature invented a powerful mechanism to achieve this: the mighty opioid receptor. It's like a keyhole on the neurons that control pleasure. If activated, it reduces pain and how much you care about pain, and it creates pleasure and good feelings. The details are complex and not relevant for this story. What you need to know is that any molecule that can fit into an opioid receptor like a key is called an opioid.
Interesting.
Opioids are extremely powerful, so when your body uses natural opioids like endorphins when you laugh, it releases only a tiny amount exactly where they're needed. So the effects are mild and localized. Your sprained ankle feels better, a painful memory subsides, you get a boost of happiness meeting an old friend. And now
Key
we're
knowledge.
getting to drugs. Humans found opioids in nature like morphine and were quite taken by them. They got refined into a whole family of drugs used in hospitals and to relieve patients that are in immense pain. Codeine, OxyContin, Vicodin, and of course, heroin.
Vicodin, the
Most
house
of all,
drug.
Fentanyl. Before we can explain why fentanyl is the most garbage drug, we need to do something fun. Let's inject some heroin together. Ready? A supernova of pleasure. Heroin rushes through your entire body and flips every opioid receptor it finds. A rapid cascade of things happens everywhere all at once. A symphony of intense sensations.
Woo!
Every
Heroin!
cell regulating pleasure is now high. Without their control, floodgates of happy hormones open and fill you up top to bottom with pure bliss. a cup of coffee, a nectar of joy, this song you like, a celestial symphony, a cuddle, pure love from the center of the universe. Wherever you felt pain before, from wounds or aching joints or menstrual cramps or loneliness or self-loathing, it's gone now. You are simply unable to feel pain or care about it anymore. Like dimming the lights in a cozy room, your brain's alert system is put to sleep and you feel at ease, warm and serene. Any stress melts away and dissolves into a dreamlike haze. You're no longer worried or tense about anything. This peace even spreads to your essential organs, slowing your breath, soothing and slowing your intestines. Your chest rises and falls like the gentle waves of a quiet shore. You're sailing a sea of calm and happiness that feels perfect and eternal. The full load of a strong opioid like heroin for the very first time is one of the most amazing feelings humans can experience. For a few hours, you're in heaven. And this is exactly the problem. Your brain is not equipped to handle anything like it. You feel too good. But nothing lasts forever, and now you're in trouble. You just experienced the best feeling you ever felt. Your brain's reward center.
And you're never gonna feel it again unless you do heroin. Well, you'll have to do even more heroin because you've already felt this. Your body is slightly used to it, so you need to have more to get the same effect.
Is completely frightened.
Oh, more
You
heroin,
can't
please.
comprehend what happened. If what you did felt this good, it has to be amazing for your survival, and you should do it again. Except, you can never ever feel this good again. This will be your peak life moment forever.
And that's another thing with drugs why I don't want to do them. Like, I've done weed, but that's pretty much, like, I've had weed and alcohol. That's pretty much my extent, and I guess I vaped for like 2 months. But it's like, the issue is, right, you do something like this, and that is the peak of your entire fucking life, right? Like, that is the best you'll ever feel in your entire life. And I do not like that idea. Because I feel like, at the moment, I can achieve something and we're really happy about that. I'll do this, I'll get married, I'll have kids, I'll do this and that, and it's all gonna feel really good. But say I felt this good with heroin, right? Hi, Phantasma. Welcome in. Stop. Stop. Hi. So, we're basically being like, why I don't want to do drugs? Because, like, say you do heroin, and that's the best you'll ever feel in your entire life. Heroin is exactly, right? That's the entire thing. Damn autocorrect. But that's the whole thing. It's like, I feel like there's so many good moments that'll happen in my life. But say I've done crack, or I've done coke, or I've done heroin, or something along those lines, and that'll be the peak of my life for the rest of it. Like, I think that's something you do when you're like 97. You're like, okay, I'm 97, let's do heroin. Because, fuck it, this will be the peak of my life. Who cares, right? But, yeah, I ain't doing that before I'm 90, you know? Unless I get like some like, terminal disease or something. Then I'm like, fuck it, all the drugs. But, you know, as long as I'm healthy, I gotta keep this thing sober and sharp.
You may forever chase this feeling you had this very first time. And now you're back in the regular world, with your insecurities, where you're
Mark my words.
tasting coffee and having to work hard for happy
Exactly.
hormones.
They should legalize
Comparison
hardcore
equals
drugs
joy,
for,
and
like,
now you have
the
your
elderly.
life to compare to a supernova of bliss.
Exactly.
The indescribable feeling comes with a
Yeah,
damage to
exactly,
your
right?
sense of life and self that may be irreparable. And this is not even the worst. Opioids are incredibly addictive, and the addiction among the worst you can have. The supernova of pain. Once you've taken opioids a few times, your brain has had enough. The cells controlling pain and pleasure are constantly high and drowsy.
Courage,
It
aye.
boosts them and makes them hyperactive.
We're watching
This
a
happens very
heroin
fast,
ad.
sometimes after a few days of use. You've developed an opioid
Doonin',
tolerance,
enjoy doonin'.
toning down all the nice effects you're doing the drugs to achieve. To feel like before, you'll need way higher doses. Now, you're at a crossroads. Quit and have your system go back to normal fairly quickly, or keep going and take more. You take the wrong turn. Over the next few weeks, your brain keeps pushing back and you keep taking more. The effects are not quite what they were, but still mildly nice. Until one day, you can't get opioids and realize your body is now your enemy. Your systems are so hyperactive that they make you feel the opposite of what the drug was doing. Welcome to withdrawal. It all starts with a creeping unease. Instead of being euphoric and happy, nothing feels good anymore. Your coffee is tasteless, your favorite song lame, your loved ones distant. A storm of negative emotions shatters your sea of calm. Serenity is replaced by anxiety and angst, like something terrible is imminent. Your worries, insecurities, and all the fears you suppressed aren't just back, but amplified into an existential crisis. You're so restless you can't sit still. Your heart is beating too fast. You shiver, sweat, hyperventilate. Your pain circuits are now oversensitive, so your bones and muscles ache and hurt for no reason. Old wounds, physical and mental, torture you. You have belly cramps and diarrhea and have to vomit. You're too agitated to rest. A war inside your body that you can't escape. And of course, there's the craving, screaming for you to make it stop. Your mind and body beg for a hit. You can be in this state for up to 2 weeks, or make it stop right away. Okay, so why not just take heroin forever and feel amazing always? The fun thing is that it doesn't work this way. You get tolerant to the nice effects like euphoria faster than to the bad ones like dangerously slow breathing. So it turns from touching the love center of the universe to mostly drowsy numbness and relief from withdrawal. Now you don't take opiates to get to heaven, but to avoid hell. You're in a prison of your mind and body.
So you have to take that to feel normal.
That could actually make you feel good. Opioid addiction is brutal and extremely hard to escape. It should be pretty clear that you need to be extremely careful with any opioids, and if you have the chance to do it for fun, just don't. There's a very real risk that your life might just be over, and that you'll go through hell. Now that we've seen the heaven and hell of heroin, we can get to fentanyl, the garbage drug. Fentanyl is really garbage heroin. Everything we just described is true in different intensities for most opioids. They can be great, all of them can be hell. Heroin is just sort of the strongest, except it isn't. Fentanyl is around 50 times more potent than heroin, but that doesn't mean 50 times more amazing, quite the opposite. Fentanyl is extremely good at crossing the blood-brain barrier, the firewall that protects your brain from harmful substances. It enters your brain so easily that you get from 0 to extremely high almost instantly. But just as fast as it enters, it leaves again. A heroin high can last 6 hours. One from fentanyl can fade in minutes. Fentanyl doesn't feel as good as heroin. Instead of a supernova of bliss, you mostly get the black hole of nodding away. But it comes with all the withdrawal symptoms. As a bonus, because fentanyl acts so quickly on your brain, it fries your reward center even more, making it even more addictive than heroin. And since you only need so little of it, it's super easy to overdose and die by accident. It's the deadliest illegal drug in US history by far. Between 2013 and 2023, it killed about 400,000 Americans. Fentanyl really is garbage heroin. Too dangerous, too intense, too addictive, too little fun. But then why are so many people taking it? Well, actually, nobody wants to. Fentanyl is not for users, it's for dealers. The house always wins. Fentanyl is a drug dealer's dream. One truckload could supply the entire US for...
No, they're cutting it! Oh my fucking god. I thought people were choosing to take Fent. No, they're just cutting other drugs with it.
1 year. It's cheap to make and easy to smuggle. Heroin needs plants and fields and way more space. So garbage fentanyl just took over the heroin supply.
Fuck.
It might have seemed great for heroin addicts at first, and then its trap snapped close. While some people may seek out fentanyl specifically,
I didn't know anything about Fent. I thought it was just the meme drug. That it's just like, it's a new drug that everyone's taking and they're all fucking leaning and shit because of it. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't realize it was just, you know, something that's pure garbage and just destroys you. But for drug dealers and manufacturers and stuff, they cut their product with this. Becomes 1,000 times more addictive. Your clientele just becomes brain dead and just relies upon you for fucking drugs, and you can make mint off them.
Several studies have found that
Fuck,
most opioid
dude.
users try to avoid it. Even worse, a lot of people who die from fentanyl don't take it willingly. Dealers want people to come back for their product, and by adding a tiny trace of fentanyl to any drug, they can make it more addictive. Even if people don't realize they took an opioid, they'll feel its effects. So dealers started to mix all kinds of drugs with fentanyl, turning the entire US drug market into a minefield where any trip can be your last. Because way too often, they put a bit too much in their mixes. In 2022, the combination with pills, often counterfeit oxycodone and benzodiazepines, accounted for about 20% of all fentanyl deaths. In 2023, the US authorities seized 115 million pills with fentanyl. 70% contained a lethal dose. About half of fentanyl overdoses came where you expected the least, from stimulants like cocaine and meth. A lot of people may have taken these mixes on purpose, but many others just wanted to party and weren't ready for an opioid surprise. This is especially dangerous because if you've never tried opioids, you can overdose very easily.
Okay, that's good at
Fentanyl
least.
really has no upsides outside medical use. For dealers and cartels,
What do you mean medical use? What medical use does fentanyl have?
means easy profit. For users, it means a worse opioid addiction and a worse life. For people who would never ever try it, it can be a death sentence they didn't see coming. No matter how alluring
Right, but
they
if it
are,
only lasts for like
using
2
opioids
minutes, then what's the benefit?
even in
Like, you're pain-free for 2 minutes and your brain is just fried afterwards, like,
safe settings is playing with fire on the best of days.
damn.
Fentanyl is a garbage drug that turns this fire into a raging furnace, increasing the risk of death massively. There's really only one conclusion to
Right,
draw
I
here.
see.
If you have the choice, don't step into the supernova of pleasure, because the danger of it turning into a supernova of pain is just too high.
That's so scary, dude.
Getting to the root of an issue requires looking at all sides.
Right,
and
I see,
thinking
okay.
critically about the
That's fair
information
enough.
we consume. In today's world, this can be
Fuck,
difficult.
dude.
This is why ground news is such an
Yeah,
intrusive
the
tool
first thing to
today.
do is with
We
this peak
believe
of your
in their
life.
mission and are
Mm.
proud to have them sponsor this video. In a nutshell, the app
You won't
and
cherish and
website combine
enjoy,
the
yeah,
world's news in
exactly.
one place
Morphine
so
though,
you can do just
yeah, makes
that.
more sense.
Take the reporting on a US bill about harder punishments for fentanyl smugglers. Fewer than 75 sources worldwide reported on the story, but the headlines were quite different. You can follow along by scanning the QR code on screen. Some of them were critical and compared the policy to the war on drugs in the 1970s. Other sources praised the step and said it could end the crisis. And some media outlets asked if the smugglers are really the problem and if policymakers shouldn't focus on
This
the
is a
problem
great
of
video,
demand in
100%.
the US itself. The interesting thing is that no
Yeah,
government
basically don't do
funded sources
exactly.
are covering the topic.
It's like, even the one time I did weed, it was like, okay, it just feels like I'm blackout drunk. I didn't like this. Because my brain was just lagging compared to, like, normal. And it's just like, I like being myself, you know? I don't like being myself lagged the fuck out. Don't do drugs. Maybe all try drugs. The peak life forever. Yeah, it's crazy. Scarred for life by happiness. That's crazy. 100% great watch. Sober for a little over 10 years and think of it daily. How I wish I could be pain-free. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're like 95, fucking load me up with heroin, you know? Like, fair enough. If I cross 100 years old, load me the fuck up with heroin. Like, fair enough. That'll be the peak of my life. I get it. That's cool, you know? If I'm 100 and I get to go out with a bang, great. But if you're like 25, right, I'm 25. Oh, really? Yeah. What's the difference between like morphine and heroin? I assume morphine is way more controlled, right? Fails when it comes to making no one heroin. I don't know. I mean, when it was like, this is the peak of your life. Forever. Like, I'm like, fucking hell, I don't want to do that shit. Probably more powerful, yeah. Heroin is probably, I mean, morphine is probably more controlled. It doesn't feel as good. It probably only suppresses pain. It doesn't give you that extreme pleasure. So it doesn't destroy your receptors that much. Morphine addict all the time, yeah. If someone's had a heroin problem in the past, they cannot have morphine because it'll reactivate the thing. Any opioid, yeah.
Cannabis has been vilified to a ridiculous degree for the last century, but it's now finally being decriminalized in more and more places around the world. It's just recently been legalized in Germany, and for very good reasons. Compared to legal drugs like alcohol, which will cause 1 in 20 deaths just this year, cannabis is pretty mild. So, to justify harsh prosecution and punishment, its negative effects have been wildly overstated. Naturally, there was a lot of pushback, and here's
Yeah,
something went wrong. If you
Especially when,
follow
like,
discourse over the
you take 1 milligram too much, you just get fucking, you know, it's crazy.
last few years, you might have got the impression that weed has almost only upsides and few, if any, negative side effects. We ourselves contributed to that narrative. What made this worse is that criminalization made it very
Interesting.
hard for scientists to study cannabis, especially its long-term effects. They faced bureaucratic
Right.
and legal hurdles, and studies often had to rely on small sample sizes. In the last few years, this
Well, the one
finally
thing I have heard is that mushrooms can destroy the centers of your brain that cause anxiety and stuff, which I'm sure, like, they're there for a reason, like, you know, for, like, protection in the wild. Like, say, you know, you're in an area with, like, fucking lions or shit, you know, the anxiety keeps you alive. But in modern life, you can get anxiety from a lot of shit, and I've heard some people say there's benefits to something like that. Where does have shrooms in college one time? Interesting.
to change, so it's time to bring new evidence to the discussion. And, well, it's not
Let's have one
pretty.
time. Shrooms on my bucket
While
list.
weed is
Nice.
still much less harmful than alcohol, it does have a dark side. It
Salvia is
more addictive
insane.
than
What's
we
salvia?
thought, and can have significant negative effects if you use it long term. It seems that... what are you doing? Before you tell us how dumb we are, please watch the video. To be crystal clear, we think prohibition doesn't work and
A
cannabis
cloud for
should be legal,
1,000 years?
But this
Wow.
also means that we need to treat it as what it is.
Okay, we'll
a
look at that
drug
next.
With unique upsides and downsides. So let's take an honest look at some of the latest research together. Weed is getting stronger and stronger. Cannabis's magic juice is tetrahydrocannabinol, THC. It docks on your cannabinoid receptors, which affects various brain functions. THC activates some regions and calms down others, creating a fun cocktail of sensations.
Was it
The more
usually- Oh, it was one of those, like, legal
the more
highs.
intense
I
the
see.
high. And people seem to be into higher highs, or at least this is what the market is
I
providing.
think it's a ceiling fan
In
for
the
20
US,
years.
Canada, and
Wow.
Europe, the concentration of THC in legal and illegal cannabis products has more than doubled in the
We'll go 5
last few
minutes later.
decades.
Nice.
While ever more potent strains are bred, products
Right.
like edibles or concentrates with
That's
more than
crazy.
6% THC have become increasingly common, while the share of products with less than 15% THC has declined. Unfortunately, just about every problem weed creates gets worse at higher THC doses. At the same time, more and more people use weed. In the US, more people consumed cannabis daily than alcohol for the first time in 2022. In Canada, 26% of people 16 and older use it, up from 22% in 2018. It's not possible to say if legalization is the reason for this, though, since studies are pretty inconsistent and vary massively between different users. In some, consumption went up. In others, it stayed stable, and the trend to use more weed began in the early 90s and sped up in the 2000s, way earlier than legalization. So today, more people consume more weed than ever before in the last century, and it's the strongest it's ever been. What are we seeing as a result of this? Let's start with something that used to get you laughed out of the room: addiction. Weed addiction and withdrawal symptoms. A big narrative
Yeah,
about weed is that it's not addictive, or at least not that big of a deal. And for most people, this is true. Studies clearly show that the
Although my friend, he at one point couldn't even get to sleep without getting high, so he had to quit, and it was getting too much for him. Like, he was like at like 3 a.m. like knocking down people's doors, being like, "Hey, can I get some weed?" Like, not knocking down, but like knocking on. that kind of shit, right? Is a mental addiction. Interesting.
Majority handle it well. For 8 out of 10 using weed, it's just a casual high and not problematic at all.
Right,
About 2 in 10
I see.
users develop a cannabis use disorder, or CUD. CUD has 11 different symptoms, from the inability to stop when you've had enough, to using it when you know it will have negative consequences, to tolerance and withdrawal. They can all basically be reduced to, you're doing it too often, even if it's bad for you, and it's less fun than it
Right,
could be.
I see.
There are 3 major risk factors
Okay,
here.
that makes
The
sense.
amount of THC, how often you consume,
Like, it's not like your receptors and stuff are craving it the same way heroin, but it's like you yourself mentally just want that state.
and your age when you start using cannabis. The more THC, the more often, and the younger you are when you start, the higher your risk. If you smoke too much weed too often, it will have negative impacts on your life. So if this is you, toning it down a bit will make a big difference. 1 in 10 users develops a serious addiction. They usually consume daily, and their life is significantly impaired or held back because they spend a lot of their time either using or recovering from cannabis use. Since their brain is building a tolerance, they need increasingly high doses or stronger weed, often both. Studies found a variety of negative effects. Heavy users can experience bad moods, feel irritable, restless, paranoid, anxious, and even depressive. In a sad twist of irony, for many addicts it feels like they need weed to fight these symptoms. Maybe it
The
did
weed addiction
actually
comes to
help at
problems in your
first,
life and distractions
but
to problems
in
every
reality,
rest.
it makes
Ah,
those
okay.
symptoms stronger and
Right,
more
that makes
persistent.
sense. Mm.
Studies also found that loneliness and frequent cannabis use go hand in hand. If you feel lonely, you're more likely to use weed, and if you use weed, you may experience more loneliness. It's not always easy to say which came first, but they seem to reinforce each other. So on the one hand, cannabis makes loneliness feel much less bad. On the other hand,
Yeah.
it can also make you feel more socially awkward than you actually are and withdraw from friends. This can lead to a downward spiral that ends in self-isolation and chronic loneliness. Another thing many people who consume a lot experience is a mental numbness that makes boredom
Right,
feel okay
gotcha.
because it impacts the reward system of your brain. Not great, but good enough. You can spend your days killing time binging mildly
Nice.
interesting stuff, being
Right,
numb
I
rather than
see.
having fun. Boredom is a signal to your mind to get creative or learn something new, but this is suppressed. This also makes quitting so much harder because your daily routines suddenly seem boring and unexciting, making it very tempting to go back.
Interesting.
If you find yourself using constantly, this can also stunt your development as a person. The numbness dulls bad feelings, making it easy not to deal with them. But in life, you can only get over bad feelings if you actually feel them, and you have to process them to grow. Lastly, let's talk about physical withdrawal symptoms. The more you consume,
Make sure
the
it's not that
worse
terrible for your health, but like it kind of prevents you from like living your life.
they'll be for you, especially if you use daily. Withdrawal can cause headaches, sweating or chills, decreased appetite, in severe cases even fever, nausea and abdominal pain. You might have trouble falling asleep, and if you do, you might have disturbing and vivid dreams. The withdrawal can put you in a depressive mood where life feels daft and pointless. You can feel restless, angry, anxious or nervous. You may feel unable to do anything at all. After a few days, these symptoms
that's
will
fair.
begin to subside, and after a few weeks, they'll be gone entirely. The exact time depends on how much and how long you've been consuming cannabis. Now, let's get to the worst part. Weed may damage your brain.
Interesting.
This section was not
Right,
fun
that's
to
fair.
research because there's fierce debate among researchers how bad weed is for your brain and
Because
whether
the one time I did, I was in this bar with like a bunch of people I only kind of knew. Like my friend was there, right? I knew him. But he was like, you know, mingling with everyone else. And I was just kind of there, like freaking the fuck out. And I just opened Instagram Reels and just started scrolling and laughing at it. Because I was like, okay, like my brain was good, but it was also not at the same time. It was so weird. I was like, okay, it's like I'm blackout drunk. Let me just sit here and be on my phone and just laugh at stupid things instead of like trying to do something and like, I don't know, falling over or like breaking something or doing something stupid. So I was like, okay, I'll sit here and just do this. Because it was so weird.
it has
So if I was alone and just watching like some dumb movie, I think it would have been like
There's no consensus
better.
yet, and it's hard
Than if
to
I was
say
around like a lot
anything
of people.
definitive. Having said that, THC directly interferes with critical brain chemistry. There is some evidence that it may alter its structure.
They're getting high and watching some parody
Go away
movie.
again if you quit after a few years.
Research
or
on brain
not.
damage.
We
Okay, I
don't
see.
know yet. The consequences.
Certain weird stuff, fuck around with people you know are gonna acting weird, but you can't stop. Yeah.
Heavy users, they have a variety of potentially unfunny downsides. The most common one is that your memory gets significantly worse. Sustained heavy use may reduce your ability to learn, your reasoning, perception, attention span, decision-making, language abilities, and impulse control. Most negative effects seem to go away or at least weaken over time after you quit, but again, we simply don't know enough and need more research. Where the evidence is much clearer is that consuming a lot of weed is really bad for teenagers on multiple levels. If you start using heavily early, you have many more years to build up potentially negative side effects. Teens who use a lot are much more likely to become addicted to weed. This may just be correlation and weed may not be the underlying cause, but heavy weed users are more likely to perform poorly in school and less likely to finish their education.
Like that's another thing. The more I'm like learning about health nowadays is that the teenage period is so vital, like puberty and all that. That like I lived pretty decent. So like, you know, I got to 6'4.5", like I'm like well built, I've got a deep voice, blah blah blah. Like I've got a lot of good things going for me, but like if I'd optimized my life in teenagehood, then like I could have been taller, like could have been more muscular, my testosterone could have been higher. Like there's a lot more. There's so much that the way you live during your teenage life affects your adulthood. It's crazy. That like doing stuff during teenagehood sucks. Like don't do it. Like if you want to just wait until you're like done growing, wait till you're 21, 25, then do whatever the fuck you want. But like optimize your life and live like perfectly during teenage years. So for the last few years of college.
They are on average less satisfied with their life and what they've achieved. This may simply be because if your memory and
Exactly, that's the thing
motivation
though,
have
yeah.
stunted, you have fewer
Tell that to a
interesting
teenager.
experiences and forget the ones you do have.
My only regret now is that I spent so much of my teenage life trying to lose weight. And it's like, what I did was just started eating like really like fucking lean chicken and like vegetables. And the problem with that is that it's so nutrient deficient that like if I had like more fatty meats and like eggs and stuff, then it would have been like better off for my testosterone and growth. But you know, and a lot of dairy for like calcium and for your growth and such. But still, is what it is.
There is strong evidence that teen users
Like maybe
are
I'm
more
good,
likely
maybe I
to
shouldn't have,
develop
because like I mean,
health issues like
6'4.5".
psychosis,
If I was like an
schizophrenia,
inch or two
depression,
taller,
or
then like
anxiety,
it's probably a lot
mental
more.
health.
Because Fo, you're like 6'7", right?
The younger you start,
Because like a lot of lot of times I'm like this far away from the ceiling, or like my legs have like this much space.
Highly potent cannabis products.
I mean, in buses my legs don't have space. I have to like sit sideways, but you know, that kind of thing.
Let's wrap this up.
Would be like way more uncomfortable if I was, you know, 2-3 inches taller.
That was the whole point. As we said before, for most people, weed in moderation is totally fine and definitely way less harmful than alcohol. You do you. We're not your parents.
Plus 6'4" is like the most
upside of
attractive height,
moderation
apparently.
is
So,
also
you know.
that when you do it, your experience will be more
take it.
intense and special. But for teens, weed, especially using it regularly or a lot of it, is a bad idea, with potentially life-changing consequences. We know that criminalization did nothing to make this better. We now have a new chance under legalization. It begins with being open and honest about the state of science and acknowledging that weed is one drug among many others. Certainly not the worst one by a long shot, but also problematic for at least 1 to 3 out of 10 people using it. If you really have to try cannabis, there is a time and place, and that's in your 20s. If you're younger, the science is clear, don't do it. At least, not yet. You'll have plenty of time to experiment later. Let's do a different.
This is a cool video. Cool channel. Oh, 24 million subs, that makes sense. Your brain on salvia.
Salvia divinorum, or salvia for short, is an herb in the mint family that's
There is
often
testimonial
used
evidence that 5'10" is a more attractive height. Yeah,
on the
sure.
streets. It's better known
I've
as
seen, like-
LED or magic
I saw their
mints.
vaping video a while ago. But I haven't seen too many of their things. Because I'm 5'10" in bed. They have really awesome videos. They do, yeah, for sure.
And it's found mostly in southern Mexico and parts of Central and South America. Even though
Like
salvia
world-ending
is
black
legal
holes.
in
Oh,
some
wow.
states, its active ingredient, salvinorin A, is one of the most potent psychoactive drugs, which has a lot of negative
Cock.
effects on your brain. and
5'10"
body.
cock, that would be
So
crazy.
What exactly is this drug? What are the risks? How does it affect your brain? Well, stay tuned until the end of the video because we'll be discussing all that today. Salvia is a drug that produces visual hallucinogenic effects, similar to narcotics such as LSD. Some even claim that they have mystical or spiritual experiences after taking it. These days, it's become popular as a recreational drug among young adults, especially because it's a fast-acting drug. In fact, you can start feeling the effects in just 2 minutes, and they last for about 20 minutes. The herb isn't rolled in cigarettes or joints. You can start feeling the effects.
So it only lasts 2 minutes, but like the experiences of people like live out 1,000 years or something in those 20 minutes.
Just 2 minutes.
That's crazy.
And they last for about 20 minutes. The herb isn't rolled in cigarettes or joints like marijuana
Wow.
because dried leaves don't create an effect. Instead, fresh leaves are used to create an extract which is smoked through pipes or water bongs. The drug may also be infused in drinks or vaporizer pens. Not just that, but some even chew directly on the fresh leaves. Even though the addiction potential of
Wow.
the drug is low, it does have its risks. Physical effects include nausea, dizziness, loss of control, or irregular heart rate, but the effects on the brain are the greatest. The drug attaches itself to the nerve cells in the body to create a variety of hallucinogenic effects, which include visual and auditory hallucinations like seeing bright lights or colors and feeling as if you're detached from reality. Not just that, but it also makes humans perceive a distorted version of their surroundings, slurred speech, and laughing uncontrollably. And the worst of all, it sometimes makes users feel very anxious or fearful. Also, the effects of the drugs are usually short-lived, but there are some long-term risks, and according to research, people that ingest salvia are more likely to experience neurologic, cardiovascular, and gastrointestinal side effects. Also, according to a study conducted on rats, salvia also has negative effects on learning, and it may impair long-term memories. Of course, this study was on rats, so it's still
Interesting. I want to see more Kyrgyzstan. Rethink exercise.
Losing weight is hard, and unfortunately, your body is sabotaging you every step of the way. Your body is a biological machine that follows the laws of thermodynamics and needs energy and raw materials to stay alive, which is why you eat. The energy from food is measured in calories, and you need a certain amount to power your internal machines. Your brain thinks, your heart pumps, your gut digests, your immune system immunes, and you contract your muscles to move around. The harder a movement is, the more calories you burn. An hour of walking burns about 260 calories, moderate swimming 430, biking 600, running 700. If you eat more calories than you burn, your body stores them, mostly in the form of fat. 1 kilogram or 2 pounds of fat is about 7,000 calories. Seems simple. To lose weight, you have to burn more than you eat, so fat is turned back into energy. There are 2 ways to do this. Eating less, which we'll cover in another video, and burning more, say by moving around aimlessly, also called working out. We also get told early on that exercising is healthy somehow, so working out should kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Unfortunately, this doesn't exactly work out. It's one of these frustrating experiences where you do what you think's right, only to not see the results you deserve. In reality, focusing on exercising is not a reliable way to lose weight. Some studies show that exercise can lead to some fat loss, others that it's minimal. How can this be? It turns out that until recently, we fundamentally misunderstood what moving around a lot does to our bodies. Disclaimer: the science on fat loss is complicated, and many studies compare vastly different populations, different measurements.
Yeah, you can
and are
definitely do
complicated
that.
to understand.
But it's like
And
when you
the
move
online
around and
discussion
take
is
care of
full
yourself, you feel
personal
so much better.
anecdotes. This video
In just your
covers
in today's day
general
life.
principles
Like,
based
sure, it
on the
might
current
not
state of
boost weight
research.
loss by that much,
But
but
when you look at the individual, There are
Just having a more
variations.
mobile,
It matters
agile
if
body
you're an
is like
athlete or casually try to
well
lose
worth it.
weight. The myth of the workout. A few years ago, scientists began to compare
congratulations on
populations
60
in
pounds.
industrialized societies, which
Hell
says
yeah.
a lot, to hunter-gatherer communities who move around a lot. The Hadza people in
Hank,
Tanzania walk
come.
an average of 9 kilometers a day to find wild plants,
Come, but
and
why?
animals, dig for tubers, climb trees for honey, or collect water. They can move more in a single day than an office worker in a week. So of course they burn more calories, right? But it turns out that the Hadza burn the same amount of calories per day as a typical person in an industrialized country.
Really?
Around 1,900 for women and around 2,600 for men, which doesn't make sense at all. It's also not their genes, since it's the same for other hunter-gatherer tribes.
That's
So the
crazy.
confused scientists looked at similar measurements in individual countries. It got even stranger. Active people who work out regularly do burn more than inactive people, but only very little, often as low as 100 calories, the equivalent of a single apple. For some strange reason, in the long term, the amount of calories you burn is often relatively unrelated to your lifestyle. Per kilo of muscle weight, your body has a relatively fixed calorie budget it wants to burn per day. Sure, if you want to gain muscles by pumping iron, you also need to eat more to build and sustain them, or your new muscles wither away. But in total, your body keeps your calorie budget per unit of you pretty stable. And to make matters worse, if you want to lose fat, your body sabotages you in small and big ways. First of all, when you begin to work out regularly, maybe going for a run in the morning, your body may subconsciously make you move less when you don't pay attention. Maybe you take the elevator instead of the stairs, you sit more when you meet your friends, or you sleep longer, largely balancing out your burn again, preventing you from burning much fat. You can overcome this temporarily. If you do actually change your life after sitting around for years and suddenly start working out without eating more, this is a shock to your system. You actually do burn more calories and lose fat, so you can lose weight through exercise. But this is often very short-lived. Your body adapts and burns fewer and fewer extra calories each week until it restores its original calorie budget. After a few months, you burn a very similar amount to what you did when you didn't work out. If you stay really consistent, your burn might increase slightly and your body composition might change, but most people struggle with keeping up the habit if they don't love the extra movement, which is why so many people hit a weight loss plateau. Objection: what about muscles? Muscles burn 3 times more calories at rest than fat. This sounds impressive, but tissues like your brain, skin or intestines burn way more. In absolute terms, a more muscular body composition makes a difference for how many calories your body burns, but it's relatively small. Muscles matter a lot for health, longevity and performance, but not that much for weight loss. Bizarre. And now we're getting to the actual reason why exercise is healthy. Why your body is sabotaging you. So your body has an activity budget per day that it wants to stick to. This setting evolved when humans had to move a lot. Not because they wanted to, but because they had to find food for survival. But when food is abundant and exercise is voluntary, what does your body do with the energy that you're not using to move around? We're simplifying a lot here, and this is relatively new science, but in a nutshell, there are many different systems in your body trying to do their job as well as possible, and if there's extra energy, they seem to use it. Unfortunately, this is bad. When your immune cells detect injuries or infections, they trigger inflammation. Fighter cells, alarm chemicals, and fluids flood into your tissue. This is crucial, but it also causes damage, so it needs to be cleaned up quickly or it can become chronic. And chronic inflammation is one of the major contributors to many serious diseases, from cancer to heart failure. If your immune system is on a tight budget, it has to be efficient with inflammation. With lots of free calories, though, it overcommits. Another thing is that your glands produce hormones you don't need, like cortisol, the stress hormone, which triggers your fight or flight response. Crucial for survival, but if you have too much of it, you get, well, very stressed all the time. Chronic stress is a major cause for a bouquet of health issues, including your mental state. For our ancestors who moved a lot and had to deal with sudden bursts of activity, fleeing from a lion, attacking that bison, this cortisol was crucial. But if you live a modern, sedentary lifestyle, your body is ready for action that doesn't happen, hurting itself in the process. Your body evolved to move regularly and is fine-tuned to a certain base level of activity. If this activity is missing, it still uses almost the identical amount of energy just on stupid stuff. This is why you burn a similar amount of calories whether you work out or not. A lot of the energy you spend working out is energy you don't spend on other physical activities and body processes. Working out is not a magic bullet, but it seems to restore an internal physical balance that seriously affects your body. And this is also why regular exercise is so incredibly healthy. The evidence is incredibly clear here. It reduces chronic inflammation and stress, it's good for your heart, may ease depression, and makes you live longer and better. Why humans are so hungry. When your ancestors evolved, they had to work hard for calories. Sometimes it would be easy and they could afford to chill out quite a bit. But in hard times, they had to move quite a bit to feed themselves, walk longer to find prey, or dig longer to find tubers. If extra movement burned more calories, this would lead to a spiral of starvation. The less food you find, the more energy you need to find food, which doesn't even fill you up because you moved more. It's like taking on more debt when you're in the red. It works for a while, but then you go bankrupt and die.
And die?
Ancestors being able to move a lot without burning extra calories was a matter of life and death. Okay, but this means the obesity epidemic of the modern world is not primarily caused by laziness, but by overeating. Humans evolved to be mad for calories because of our extremely hungry brains and our extremely useless kids. Kids are cute, but unlike other species, human kids have to be fed and cared for by adults for years before they become even remotely useful. Because the human brain not only eats up about 20% of all our calories at rest, twice as much as our closest ape relatives, it also takes a lot of time to develop through playing, learning, and honing social skills, all the things that make us human. Our species is so extremely calorie expensive to maintain that we became super efficient calorie harvesters. 5 hours of human hunter-gatherer foraging yields between 3,000 and 5,000 calories, while our ape relatives get no more than 1,500 in the same time. And we became so good at calorie harvesting precisely because of our big brains and years of social skill training. In a typical ancestral tribe, some members would spend the day searching for plants, others hunting or gathering honey, others nurturing kids. And at the end of the day, we'd share the calories so that no one would end up hungry. Being frenetic calorie harvesters seems to be deeply part of what makes us human. It's not a bug, but a feature. But today it seems as if that feature has turned on us. We can't stop overproducing food and overeating. If you want to lose fat, reducing calories is the biggest part of the answer. We'll cover diet in the next part. So to conclude, you'll probably not lose nearly as much fat by working out as you hoped, but you will do something more important. Give your body balance and make you more resilient, and prevent or delay many of the diseases that will make your life miserable, so you can enjoy a higher quality of life for much longer. But physical fitness is only half the equation. To make the most of your long, healthy
really
life,
interesting.
you also
Wow.
need a fit, active mind, one trained to navigate our fascinating world and agile enough to solve any problem, which is where our friends at Brilliant come in. Brilliant will make you a better thinker and problem solver, with thousands of hands-on, bite-sized lessons on just about anything you may be curious about, from AI and physics to maths, data analysis, and beyond. On Brilliant, you'll learn.
Okay, anyway. Time for Alan's surprise. The final episode.
In one of my finer moments of self-deception, I swore to quit drinking.
Bro ain't looking so good. Dinner time, enjoy the calorie harvesting, foe. Have a good one.
The sunglasses made the world look bearable. Now I could keep my eyes open without feeling like a vampire in the sun.
Good old Alan.
I wasn't sure I'd make it out there without some painkillers. The pills worked fast, the prospect of being awake started to seem bearable again. There was a message waiting for me on the machine.
Alan Wake, the sudden stop. Wow. Bro got a pew pew trophy.
You have one new message.
Al! Are you still asleep? Wakey, wakey! You should have your show on your TiVo. If Alice wasn't too mad to record it. She called me earlier and really chewed me out. Yeah, we went a little overboard last night. But parties are a part of this business. Al, look, I'm saying this as your friend. She's not doing your career any favors by trying to run your life like that, okay?
Damn.
Talk to you later, Al. Watch the show!
Barry talking shit about Alice. Shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Harry Gallic Show.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We have a great show tonight. I've been talking with the best-selling author Alan Wake about his new book, The Sudden Stop.
Yeah, good read. Go buy it.
No, it is a good read. Look, I'm gonna be honest here.
Is that wise?
No, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I got people who give me the lowdown on books. I'm a busy guy. But this one, I actually read from cover to cover. I mean, I'm a big fan.
Wow, thanks.
Now, this might be a spoiler for those who haven't read the book yet. Based on the sales figures, the 2 people out there who haven't read the book yet. But this last book is all about the death of the main character, the hard-boiled New York detective, Alex Casey. Now, there's been a lot of outrage about this. Why the hell did you kill Casey? What the hell were you thinking, man?
Good riddance. No, seriously though. 7 years and 6 books is a long time. He was a gloomy guy to spend all your working hours with, and it was a good run. But it's time to explore new things. My next book will be a departure from the old for me.
You selfish bastard, always thinking of yourself. Well, you've certainly given us a lot of entertainment over the years. And now that you mention it, Casey was a gloomy guy. Never had much luck with his love life with the ladies. Was that autobiographical in any way?
Yeah, no kidding. Casey's lady friends tended to die on him. With Casey, it was all about his pain. No, nothing autobiographical about that. I'm a happily married man. My wife is my muse.
Well, congratulations. That's great to hear. So, how's the publicity tour been treating you?
Good, great. But I gotta say, I'm glad to be back home in New York.
Well, you've certainly been on the news a lot lately. Lots of parties and, you got into a fight with some paparazzi.
Ooh.
Well, that guy was really in my face. I lost my temper. I know that wasn't cool.
You are famous for that temper.
Well, I did also write several books.
Well, your latest novel is called The Sudden Stop, and it's in bookstores now. Go get it. That means the 2 of you out there who haven't bought it yet. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you tonight. I want to thank all our guests for the evening. Alan Wake, Sam Lake. Once more, do the face for a Sam. There it is. And our musical guests, Poets of the Fall. Thank you, and good night.
At least I'd been funny. I told myself I could live with that. I didn't say anything stupid if that's what you want to know. Are you going to start with me about drinking now?
You know what? Go back to sleep, Alan.
Why are you such a bitch, bro? Chill, Alan. Your wife is being nice to you.
Now you can't even talk to me?
Well, this morning I was angry because you said you'd be home at midnight and you showed up at 7 a.m. and passed out in mid-sentence.
Damn.
Now I'm over it. Are you angry?
This goddamn tour. It's gotten out of hand.
Oh, honey. It's almost over, right? We can get back to normal. Then you can start writing again.
I'm sorry, honey.
Alan, you're not thinking straight. Just take a shower and go back to bed, huh?
Yeah, you're right, honey. I'm sorry. Once this is over, let's go away together. A vacation. Just you and me. Some peace and quiet.
Oh, and she drowns. That was sad. Well, this was 2 years ago.
Somehow, the clicker was the key to the cabin. I had to return to Cauldron Lake to save Alice. I'm going back to the lake to finish this. I'm going to write an ending to the story in the manuscript on my own terms, to make it all right.
Why can't you just write it here?
The last page is still in the typewriter. I need to read it first. Everything needs to be just right. Zane tried to cut some corners, and it didn't end well.
Okay, ready when you are.
I'm sorry, Sarah, but I need to do this alone. Barry, take her gun.
Wait, what?
Miss Weaver, close the door when I leave.
Aww.
Good luck, Al.
Thank you, Barry.
See you later. When I got out, it was warm and sunny. I'd flicked the switch of the clicker. Had it done this? I didn't stop to question it. I had to take advantage of the sunlight to get to the lake. On Zane's page, I'd stood on the rim of Cauldron Lake, about to use the clicker. That's where I was headed. Alone, in daylight, surrounded by the beauty of the Pacific Northwest landscape. It was hard not to let doubt creep in one last time. I could still chalk everything up to a dream, a delusion. I had enough imagination to make up something like this, having been in the cabin all this time, trapped in a story inside my head, gone mad from grief over Alice's death like Hartman had claimed. There would be no way of knowing. I told myself it didn't really matter. My course was set.
Bro running around with a gun. Very American. Be sure you take the car. Would be smart. We do not need to run all the way there. Drive, brother, drive. .6 KBF-FM, the radio voice of Bright Falls. Bright Falls Deer Festival. That was a very dramatic crash. Like, bro, I hit that at like
The darkness had touched me.
0.2 miles an hour.
Between us, always would be. I could feel its presence again, getting closer.
Well, shit.
I will kill your wife.
She won't be saying that when I give her Alan's special. Bird. Good burb or bad burb? Nice. I'm glad they've got all these little cars around. Very helpful. Will they chase me, like, forever if I just drive past them? Well, that was a bit of a fail. Come on. Oh, come on. Come on. Damn it. No. Oh, okay, so this is the checkpoint, I see. Let's try that again without just ruining our car.
Feel its presence again, getting closer.
I will kill your wife.
That's what you get, bitches. Give me Page. Lovely. No, the light. Okay, let's try this again and not crash the car. I wonder if I could drive these cars. Oh well. Kaboom. Okay, drive slowly. There we go. Ha! Nice. Don't wreck the car. Get fucked, giant wheel. I'm very glad these people leave their, keys in the car and abandon them. It's very useful for Mr. Allen. Evil barrel. I wonder what PewDiePie would have said at this moment. I assume he probably played this game back in that time when he was beefing with the barrels.
What the hell?
Okay, you know what? I'll take its disappearance. Damn, bro. Alan is not strong enough to handle this, dude. Bro does not have the health. He just died. Alan. Okay, trying to dodge these guys is probably the smart move. Because Alan cannot cook these guys.
What the hell?
Quick enough. There we go. Okay, okay. Cool. Fucking contact damage, are you serious? Touching it shouldn't kill me, bro. Bro, where do I dodge to? The platforms are fucking collapsing. Ah. Fight the poltergeists. Good thing we had the car for cover there, holy shit. Nice. A fucking crane. Alan, move. The light. And a car. Let's fucking go. Bro gets to drive all kinds of cars. How exciting. Was that a corrupted car? Nice. Okay. I see. Fun section. Let's try not to get out the car before we deal with Demon Car. Drive over 15 taken, hell yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake. Bro. There we go. Holy fuck. He really decided to go after my car, and that kind of saved me. Maybe it thought I was still in the car or something. These throwing enemies are so irritating. Out of ammo? What the fuck do I do? The game hasn't given me any ammo in like forever. Fuck's sake. Oh my god, what the fuck? Are you meant to get past all that with 12 bullets? I guess they must expect you to keep the car. Right, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I see. That's the end of the road for this car. And that's fine. And now they give you ammo, okay. What in the fuck? Holy fuck, there are so many of them. Wow. What in the fuck? What do you do? The cutscene didn't let me move, okay. And then these guys started stabbing me immediately after the cutscene. So what was I meant to do? Shoot the thing! For fuck's sake! The fucking fast enemy that stab you like 17 times before you have the chance to move is the worst. That can't be all of them, can it? There were so many. There we go. Holy fuck, there are so many of them. And now in the light, thank fuck. That tunnel, holy shit. I mean, it makes sense, tunnels are dark. These guys thrive in the darkness. Checks out. Okay. Man is dual wielding? Really? We got them dual wielding now. Nice. Thank fuck for flashbangs. Flag on! Nice. Camera, please. Dude, what kind of adventure is bro going on? Like, where are we? Right now. Okay. Of course. Alan, can you get out of the car a bit quicker than that? You know what, I'll keep this blue car. Actually, no, I don't like it very much. That one seems smaller. Smaller cars are nicer. This is America though, so... nice big cars.
When I told Barry my plan back in the well-lit room, I'd acted as if I knew what I was doing. I didn't. I was operating on the shifting logic of a dream. I had to fight my way to the lake through the horrors of the night. I had to flick an old battered light switch imbued with childhood magic. I had to write a happy ending to a horror story. I had to save my wife from the dark prison she was being held in.
What? The fuck just hit me? Pfft. Alan moment. All of a sudden, bro is strong. Alright. Sydney! Hi! How was the rest of your stream? Your food looked yummy too. Shotgun. Let's go. Just chilling. Nice. That's always good. Especially for a Monday evening. Although now it's Tuesday for me. It's bloody Tuesday, ain't it, bruv?
I will never give her to you.
Hey, yo. Okay, old lady. Okay, old lady. I will hide inside this house. What in the fuck is going on? Get fucked, big bitch. I assume that means get inside. Oh, no, it means I cannot leave. Okay. I hate the fuckers who throw shit. Stop. Get fucked. Great. Lovely. Everyone is in the corner. Of course. Where the fuck am I? This is the checkpoint? Oh, man. Okay, so I think the plan is... Bro, I don't even have the fucking shotgun yet. Okay. Is rush to the light. Drop a bunch of flares along the way, rush to the light. And at last I see the light. It is like the fog has lifted. And it's warm and bright.
I'll give her to you.
fuck off. Damn, bro. Those guys are chunky, holy fuck. Good going, Alan, good going. Doing so well, dude. I'm starting to really enjoy tropical flavored drinks. They're nice. I usually quite like a, you know, red drink enjoyer. So like strawberry, blackcurrant. You know, the red juices. Cherry. But I'm starting to like yellow as well.
I could see Mirror Peak in the distance. That's where Cauldron Lake was.
Does bro ride the minecart? Please tell me he rides the minecart like it's in Resident Evil. Oh, hell yeah. Those are a lot of birds. Okay then. Really nothing back here? Okay, there's gotta be something good here. Some plague dynamic, perhaps. Or some flashbangs. Or no, that's just a way back to where we came from. Okay. I see. Never mind. Go, Alan, go! harvest honey. Grab sticks. Win game. That's incredibly smart. Oh my fucking god. I think these birds also want the honey. But no, the honey is mine. Fuck's sake, why was that equipped? Damn it. No way wasting my flare gun. What if this really is bro's Fent dream and he's just going around killing farmers and such? This is like Resident Evil 4 all over again. Going into a rural area. Killing a bunch of locals because they were zombies or shadows. Oh, not the fucking Fent zombies. Did he get stuck? Idiot. Bro has super speed to get stuck in a corner. What a loser. Oh, fuck's sake. Okay. Oh man, I'm going to fight the Fent zombie again. Damn it. Oh, that did quite a bit of damage. Right. I actually have quite a bit of flare ammo. Okay. Yeah. Not a bad use case on an enemy like that. Just one shot, one kill. And there we go. Checkpoint. I got a flare gun. Bitch fucker. I think we may go flashbang there. Does it insta-explode if it comes in contact with an enemy? Interesting. Fuck's sake. Where is he fucking venting off to? Great, boats are falling from the sky. Did nobody tell the Fent Goblins that boats don't fall out of the sky? Oh, for fuck's sake, man. Maybe we should go completely flare gun. Fuck's sake, bro. Ooh, cinematic kill cam. Kapow, bitch. Nobody can outfuck the Fent gun. Okay. Bro is still attacking me during that cinematic. Thank you very much, game. Shit, dude. Come on, light. I need light. I really need some light. Thank fuck. Holy shit. I mean, it is the climax of the game and all. Makes sense for all this chaos. Alan. Fuck. Okay. Holy shit. Bro, almost got squished. What hit me? What is hitting me? Why are you dying, Alan? I didn't see any projectiles or anything. He was just... Was he just having like a small heart attack or something? No, there was something for me to fall onto and then I just didn't. Nice.
I needed to get the generator running.
Fucking! It's only day one of total lack of nicotine. I feel so fucking irritable. That's rough, bro. I'm sorry. But hey, you got this, man. I believe in you. How was the burger you ordered? Hope that was good at least. Okay, well. It made me tired. Nice. I mean, that's good at 4 AM. I only work at 1 AM, yeah. I guess... Nice. Hi, Pixie. What'd that switch do? Bye, Pixie. Her last message was 12 minutes ago. Doonan. Enjoy Doonan. Okay. Oh, right, there's a lift now. That's me just ignoring it. No, Sag. 07 light. The map is telling me to go over there. But then the game is doing that. Thank you for spawning enemies on me. They really put the checkpoint before this fucking 20-second elevator. Nice. Well, how are you guys doing? Hope you're doing good.
Turn back now.
Nice.
Do as you're told.
I swear to God, if Alan dies to rock, I am going to be pissed. Or to Paul. Paul!
Alice never loved you.
Well, that's a fucking lie, because if she didn't, then why would she stick by him? Why would she marry him? Damn it, Alan! What the fuck? Huh? This blur fucking effect is so annoying. Infinite flare gun ammo? Hey yo. Thanks. How rude of him.
Get light into its heart to hurt it.
Maybe I have to get closer first.
You will fail.
Ah, okay.
You're making this up.
Alan! What the fuck? Bro! Fuck's sake. What the fuck?
You're making this up.
Let's go! Did Alan just become woke? Did we do it?
Shh, baby. You were having a bad dream. It was just another nightmare.
No.
Everything's fine. You're home.
It wasn't a dream.
Everything's
fine. Turn the lights on. Turn the lights on!
Shh, baby. The power's out. There's no light. Come back to bed and I'll make you forget all about your fear in the dark.
My fear? It's your fear. Why aren't you afraid? You're not Alice. Turn the lights on now. Where's the clicker? What did you do with it?
Alan, honey, you're still 1 foot in a dream. You're not making any sense. Come back to bed. Alan, you're scaring me now. Come back to bed. Have you taken your pills? Do you want me to call Dr. Hartman?
Shut up, you're not my wife.
I read your manuscript. It's brilliant. Departure is your best work yet. You're a genius. I'm so proud of you. Come back to bed. We'll talk more about it in the morning.
Alan's actual wife would not be saying stuff like that.
Come back to bed, Alan.
Come back to bed, Tom.
Tom!
You must find your way to the cabin. It stands in your way. It won't let you pass. It has no heart. It's filled with darkness.
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light! Iconic line. Whoa.
Don't mind him. He's Mr. Scott. Your friends will meet him when you're gone. Use the clicker.
Oh man. I lost my lantern, I've just got this shitty fucking flashlight now. Sag.
I followed the idea of a path.
I'm leaving you.
What?
I'm leaving you, Alan. I met someone. I'm in love with someone else.
Alice? No, what are you saying? You can't...
You don't love me. How could you when you don't even love yourself? All you do is torture yourself with work you can't do anymore.
No, I love you more than anything in the world. You're my muse.
I'm not.
Who are you? What have you done with my Alice?
Alan? What are you doing? Put the light back on! What are you doing, Alan? Stop! Put the light back on!
It wasn't true. Nothing like that had ever happened.
I wonder if we get an achievement for unlocking everything in this realm. So let's try and do it.
You're not my Barbara.
Tom, let me go. I promise to be good. Please, untie me, you naughty boy. I will help you write your masterpiece. I will love you forever.
No, you're not Barbara Jagger. I made a terrible mistake. I should have never written you back. You came back wrong. Your heart is filled with darkness.
Put that knife away, Thomas! Put it down!
My heart is filled with darkness. I'll cut it out. Take you back to the depths you came from.
Filled with darkness.
I will be Gavin to me.
Get away from me, you hag! Where am I? Let me go!
Alice! I'm coming!
Your husband refused to do as he was told. All he had to do was write what I wanted him to write. Now it's too late. It's his fault.
Shit.
Now you will never get her back. I am much older than you.
Okay, Granny.
Older than your first work of art.
Yes, I'm sure he wrote the when he was in his 20s.
New face to wear. Someone else to dream me free.
Philodoxal would like, go for it. Smited her like she was a demon out of Supernatural. Love it. Now, did we save the wife?
I could feel Alice's presence close by. I understood what I had to do now. I knew how to write the ending to Departure. There's light and there's darkness. Cause and effect. There's guilt and there's atonement. But the scales always need to balance. Everything
Oh,
has a
shit.
price. That's where Zane had gone wrong. There's a long journey through the night back into the light.
Is he going to sacrifice himself to save Alice?
Alice?
With the whole scales need to balance kind of thing.
Oh no!
can do it, Alice. Swim! But now is he trapped down there? Alan? Yeah, I'll check that in a second. Hey, the Deer Festival. Let's go, Odin and Thor. Pog.
It's not a lake. It's an ocean.
Alan, wake up.
What? Complete the game on hard difficulty? I was playing on hard? What? Huh? The fuck?
Alan! Alan! Alan!
This video.
Alan!
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 She's all neck and legs. Look at her.
Oh, I am looking at her.
Stop looking at her.
You just told me to look at her.
Ow!
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 Ow! That's right in my throat, that. John, I don't think we're allowed to wee here.
It's fine. Just keep a lookout. What was that? That was me zip.
Whoa! Where did all these come from? You know me, lads. I can't wee with an audience.
Alan! 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 Alan!
I saw this in fucking science class when I was 12.
What kind of a name's that? Are you an animal or a bit of an oven? Bet you went to private school, didn't you? With your mates Badger Hobbs and Gas Stove Squirrel.
At the Copacabana, music and fashion is always the passion at the Copa. Hey! Are you filming me in the bath? Get out! Away, man, I'm naked. You better not put it on YouTube.
Oh, so that's not Alan. Steve. That's...
Steve!
Steve! Steve! Steve! Steve! Steve! Steve! Steve! Steve!
It's from the actual BBC. Wow.
Now you will never get her back.
Alan Wake's ending is a strange one. It's cryptic and hard to explain, with a focus on emotion and narrative over silly little things like...
But bro doesn't... yeah, I don't really.
However, while it's not entirely clear
I need the lore.
what's actually happening, there is an explanation for the finale and what it all means, which we're going to work through now. Also, it should go without saying, of course, major spoilers ahead. We'll be discussing the Alan Wake ending here and referring to events throughout the game. If you've not played or finished it yet, maybe
How does he
go and do
recap
that
it in
and then
5
come
minutes?
back to this, unless you don't mind the whole game basically getting spoiled for you.
Is there a video that's a bit longer? Watch us both playing Alan Wake 2 and it's an hour and a half. Maybe not an hour and a half. The lore of the dark place, dark presence, and bright presence, yeah. Yeah, 15 minutes seems good. Damn, 2.5 hours, wow.
After multiple attempts over the last 13 years, Remedy Entertainment is finally about to release Alan Wake 2. And for fans of the original 2010 psychological thriller cult classic, the excitement is palpable. But of course,
Dark place,
given
the
how
dark
long it's
presence,
been
and a bright
since the launch of the
Okay.
first game, there are
That makes
obviously
sense.
going to be
Who
many
would've thought?
who will be playing Alan Wake 2 without much knowledge of its predecessor. As such, to help you catch up in time for the sequel, or to help refresh your memory, as the case may be, here we're going to recap the full events of Alan Wake, its 2 expansions, its standalone sequel,
basically-
Alan
oh, okay.
Wake's American Nightmare, and the events of Control's second DLC, AWE, which firmly places the Alan
Wait, Control is part of this universe? That's another game I have to play. I have it on Epic. I got it for free at some point, and I heard it was good.
Wake franchise in the Remedy connected
They just want
universe.
balance. Interesting.
Without further ado then, let's dive right in. As Alan Wake's
Because the
story
ending was
kicks
all
off-
about like Alan being like, okay, this is where Zane went wrong. He didn't realize that the scales need balance. So I was thinking like, okay, he stays, Alan stays, and his wife gets to be free.
Our titular
That's the
protagonist
balance.
isn't exactly in a good place in his life. He is a renowned and successful writer, but after having spent years of his professional
Alan
life
stays out.
writing
Okay.
crime fiction about a hard-boiled detective named Alex Casey, Alan has grown dissatisfied with the commercialized nature of his work, wanting to write something that appeals to him. On a more personal level, he's killed off Casey's character, though things haven't exactly worked out for the writer the way he would have hoped. For 2 years now, he's been suffering from crippling writer's block, and that has been taking a toll on him in his personal life as well, with his relationship with his wife Alice seemingly being on its last legs. On the advice of his friend and
He hates
agent
sex
Barry
with his wife and he
Wheeler,
works
Alan
in a
and Alice
Turkish
leave for a
restaurant.
vacation, hoping to fix their marriage and help
Yep.
Alan get over his writer's block, and head to the small
That's pretty much
remote
it.
mountain town of Bright Falls, Washington. Upon arriving in Bright Falls, Alan goes to meet a man named Carl Stuckey, from whom he's supposed to retrieve the keys of the cabin where he and Alice are supposed to be staying. Instead of Stuckey, however, Alan is met by a mysterious, and more than just a little creepy, old woman garbed in black attire fit for a funeral, who hands him the keys. Alan and Alice reach the cabin, which is on a small scenic island in the middle of a local volcanic lake called Cauldron Lake, and this is where things begin to go monumentally wrong. At the cabin, Alice tells Alan that the reason they're here in Bright Falls is because she wants him to meet with a famous local psychologist named Dr. Emil Hartman, who specializes in working with people of an artistic persuasion. Alan doesn't react to this very
Oh.
well, and in a fit
I
of rage,
forgot
he
that.
storms out. While he's cooling down, however, he hears a
I was not paying
commotion
attention at the
coming from
beginning, was
inside
I?
the cabin, along with cries for help from Alice. He rushes back in, only to see Alice being dragged out and pulled deep into the lake by something that can only be described as supernatural. Alan jumps into the lake after his wife, though he instantly blacks out. When he wakes up, he finds himself behind the wheel in a car that's crashed, with no memory at all of how he's ended up there. Not long afterward, he starts
Alan
getting
Lake.
swarmed and attacked by vicious, shadowy creatures, while also having repeated
Oh, yeah,
encounters with a
shadowy
mysterious
creatures.
figure in a diving suit who keeps leaving behind pages of a horror novel titled Departure. That, curiously enough, is a name that rings a bell for Alan. It's the name of the novel he'd been planning on writing next, but could never actually get around to thanks to his writer's block. And when he reads the pages of the manuscript, he realizes that not only have they been written by him, even though he has absolutely no memory of writing them, but also seem to be describing events that he's currently in the middle of. The shadowy creatures that he's been fighting off using light as a weapon, for instance, are referred to as the Taken in his pages, and it seems they're actually the people of Bright Falls who have been possessed by an unknown dark force. Alan also has a run-in with Carl Stuckey, the man he was supposed to meet when he first arrived in Bright Falls, but upon learning that he too has become one of the Taken, is forced to put him down. Soon, Alan is able to make his find Bright Falls sheriff, Sarah Breaker, though when he tells her about what happened to Alice in the cabin, she tells him that there's been no cabin at Cauldron Lake since it sank in a volcanic eruption decades ago. Believing him to be having a mental episode of some sort, she takes Alan to the police station, where his friend and Agent Barry also arrives not long afterward. At the police station, Alan is also visited by Dr. Emil Hartman, the psychologist Alice had arranged for him to meet with in the first place, who suggests to him that a stay at his psychiatric hospital at Cauldron Lake Lodge could help him. Alan, as you might expect, doesn't take kindly to that suggestion and punches the doctor in response. Meanwhile, at the station, Alan is contacted by a man named Mott, who claims to be Alice's kidnapper and tells Alan to meet with him alone to discuss his demands for her safe return. Alan and Barry meet with Mott, who tells them that in exchange for Alice, he wants all the pages of the departure manuscript. Giving no explanation as to why that's what he wants, he flees from the scene, and Alan and Barry soon set out to start collecting more pages of the manuscript. During this time, Barry also explains the Cauldron Lake cabin's history to Alan. Decades ago, in the 1960s, it was owned by a poet named Thomas Zane, whose fiancée, Barbara Jagger, drowned in the lake, while not long afterward a volcanic eruption destroyed and sunk the island, killing Zane in the process. Curiously enough, however, all of this was only ever recorded by a local woman named Cynthia Weaver, who's now viewed by everyone as something of a recluse. Alan and Barry's search for the manuscript proves successful, though not without caveats. On their search, they cross paths with
But this is a recap of the game, right?
A former FBI agent who's been investigating Alan for
So
quite
far, at
some
least.
time for reasons unknown, and seems to be all too willing to kill Alan without a second thought. He's able to escape the crazed former agent's attempts on his life, however, and runs to the meeting point where he was supposed to hand over the manuscript
Seems
to
like,
the
yeah.
kidnapper. When he arrives, however, he sees Mott already meeting with someone he recognizes, the creepy old woman who handed him the cabin's keys all the way back at the beginning of the game. And she's no ordinary woman, as it turns out, and has Mott in her grip using otherworldly dark powers. Alan witnesses Mott telling the old woman that he never really kidnapped Alice and that he'd just been following orders from his boss. We'll get back to him in a bit. And
I
the chaos that
see,
ensues,
right.
the old woman or the dark force or whatever she is attacks both Alan and the kidnapper, and Alan
Have you
is,
played
once
Control?
again,
I've heard it's really
hurled
good.
into Cauldron Lake, at which point he loses consciousness again. When he comes to, he finds himself in Dr. Hartman's psychiatric hospital, where the doctor tries to tell him that he's been experiencing a psychotic break, a
Right.
rejection of reality triggered by the drowning and
I didn't
death
realize they
of
were
his
related at
wife,
all, but
and that everything he claims to have
that's fair.
experienced since then has merely been happening in his mind. Alan thoroughly refutes this notion, however, concluding that he's being deceived, a conclusion he arrives at with encouragement from fellow patients Odin and Tor Anderson, who are former rock musicians who say they've experienced with Cauldron Lake's supernatural elements, and that he's definitely not crazy. Soon afterward, the hospital is attacked by the Taken, and amidst the chaos, Alan is able to escape with Barry's help. While they're escaping, they also learn that Mott was hired by Dr. Emil Hartman, who was trying to use him to lure Alan to himself. Apparently, Hartman is more than familiar not only with the properties of Cauldron Lake, but also with the power that Alan's writing has to change and manipulate reality, and his goal was to harness that power for his own purposes. After Alan and Barry escape from the hospital, they finally begin putting the pieces together and learning the truth about what exactly has been going on in Bright Falls. He also gets back to his memories of the time between him jumping into the lake to save Allie and him waking up in a crashed car, a week that he has no memory of, but one where he apparently wrote the horror novel Departure. As it turns out, Cauldron Lake is home to a mysterious, extremely powerful entity known as the Dark Presence, and the lake also has the power to turn works of art into reality. It is this power exactly that the Dark Presence has been trying to use to try and escape from the lake and out into the world. Back in the 60s, it tried to use the poet Thomas Zane for the same purposes by pulling his fiancée, Barbara Jagger, into the lake, who it turns out was the creepy old woman Alan has seen a few times now. Zane used
Right.
his writing to bring Barbara back to life, but after realizing that it wasn't really her, but an approximation of her containing the dark presence, he decided to undo his mistake. Through his writing, he caused a volcanic explosion that sunk the cabin and the island it was on, while also killing him in the process, sealing the dark presence back inside the lake, and leaving Jagger, the old woman, or this demonic new version of her, behind. It also revealed that the mysterious figure in a diving suit that Alan had seen leaving behind pages of Departure was Zane himself. And what about the events of present day? Well, as you may have guessed by now, it was the dark presence that kidnapped Alice, and has been manipulating Alan into writing Departure, hoping that through his writing he'll try to get her back, and release it in the process.
So it's just like if the eruption took down the cabin, and all the villagers are like, yeah. How does... Oh, wait, no, I mean, she gives him the key, doesn't she? So she probably made an illusion of the cabin.
Soon, however, Alan and Barry are arrested.
Because at the beginning, the actual guy with the key was like, wait, sir, your key. Whereas he left with Jagger's key.
Robert
Right, makes sense.
Nightingale, and brought to the police station. The station is attacked by the Taken, however, with Nightingale being taken and consumed by the dark presence. With the help of Sheriff Breaker, who now has no option but to believe Alan and his seemingly deranged claims, which of course are not deranged after all, Alan and Barry are able to escape, and they quickly make their way to meet Cynthia Weaver, the woman who wrote and recorded the events of the volcanic eruption that destroyed the cabin decades ago. Weaver tells them that Zane left behind the means with which Alan could defeat the dark presence, and it is, interestingly enough, something that has also had personal meaning to Alan since his childhood. The clicker, which is a simple light switch, but purportedly has the power to defeat the forces of darkness. With the clicker in his possession, Alan dives into Cauldron Lake once again, where he finds himself in a surreal, twisted, shifting alternate dimension known as the Dark Place, a place that is prone to being manipulated by works of art that then manifest in the real world. In the Dark Place, Alan encounters Jagger, the Dark Presence's avatar, and using the clicker, he's able to defeat her. At this point, however, he realizes that he must not repeat the same mistake Zane made, that as a dramatic work of literature, the story that he has written and manifested into reality must end with balance, which Zane was unable to do. Using his writing, he helps Alice escape, freeing her into the real world, but to strike the aforementioned balance, traps himself in the Dark Place. He ends the story with the words, "It's not lake, it's an ocean." That is where Alan Wake ends, though we see him again, trapped in the Dark Place in the game's 2 post-launch expansions, The Signal and The Rider, which reveal that while trapped in this horrific reality, his mind has become fractured. With the help of Thomas Zane, Alan is able to fix up and get a grip on himself again, following which he decides to start writing again and use his writing to escape from the Dark Place. One of those attempts is seen in the game Alan Wake's American Nightmare, which sees him writing scripts of a supernatural anthology TV series called Night Springs, a show that he actually used to screenwrite for in the real world early on in his writing career. Alan Wake's American Nightmare sees the titular writer having to face off against an evil, maniacal doppelganger of himself known as Mr. Scratch, who is obsessed with taking everything in Alan Wake's life away from him. At the end of the game, Alan is able to defeat Mr. Scratch, just not as permanently as he would have hoped, though his attempt to escape from the Dark Place proves to be an unsuccessful one, and the first of many, as it would turn out. From here, we jump forward several years and arrive at the events of AWE, the second post-launch DLC released for Control. In the years that have passed since Alan Wake's events, the Federal Bureau of Control, a secret government agency that investigates and deals with paranatural events, has been keeping an eye on the town of Bright Falls, and even has someone stationed there in the form of Agent Kieran Estevez. During its investigation of Cauldron Lake, the FBC also interrogated Hartman and seized all of his research and writings on it, following which Hartman, in a last-ditch attempt to capture the power he had been obsessed with for so long, dove into the lake. He was soon possessed by the Dark Presence, though, after which the FBC captured him and brought him back to its headquarters, the Oldest House. In the time since the events of the first Alan Wake, the FBC has also had contact with Alice Wake, who informs them that she's been having reoccurring nightmares of her husband, or as she describes him, a monster wearing her husband's skin. This terrifying, murderous version of Alan, presumably Mr. Scratch, is apparently intent on finding and murdering her. But the FBC cannot do much to follow up on any of this, since it has major issues of its own to deal with, in the form of an invasion by an otherworldly supernatural force known as the Hiss, which, it is revealed in AWE, was created by none other than Alan himself. He wrote the Hiss into existence, intending to use Control protagonist Jesse Faden as the hero for his new story, which he wanted to use to help him escape from the dark place. However, Hartman has been able to absorb the powers of the Hiss, which have combined with the dark presence within him to turn him into a terrifying monstrosity. However, Jesse Faden, who has been the director of the FBC for a while at this point, is able to beat Hartman. As the AWE DLC comes to an end, Jesse is told by FBC agents that they've received alerts of an altered world event in the town of Bright Falls, though curiously enough, the date of the event is several years into the future, and by the time Alan Wake 2 kicks off, we've arrived at that date. There are, of course, plenty of loose threads that are still left dangling as we head into Alan Wake 2. We know Alice is still out there, and that she is possibly being hunted by Mr. Scratch. We know an agent of the FBC, Kieran Estevez, is in Bright Falls, and that something is happening in the town again, which, according to Alan, is a sign that the Dark Presence is gearing up to launch another vicious attack in an attempt to escape from the lake. On top of all that, it also seems like Alex Casey, the fictional detective character that Alan used to write about, has been manifested into reality somehow. How will all of these threads come together? We'll find out soon when Alan Wake 2 launches on October 27th. That's all for now.
Interesting.
If you enjoy what you saw, please hit the like button. And
Hello, and welcome to another installment in the Law & Order video series, where I look at and unpack stories
I like
from
this guy.
games. Previously, we explored Blair Witch.
Wow.
If that wasn't
Alan Wake 2 has a fucking 2.5 hour video.
More mind-bending in talking about Alan Wake. Originally coming out back in 2010, the game, which was heavily inspired by Stephen King and Twin Peaks, got the remaster treatment earlier this year. It shared everything that the original had, great gameplay and a linear plot, with better facial animations and nicer graphics. I thoroughly enjoyed playing through it again after all those years, but let me tell you, the story was still just as confusing. Now, there will be spoilers in this video for Alan Wake and Control, so if you haven't played the games and want to, here is your 5-second warning. Don't say I didn't tell you. Forced to fight off illusions of Barry, Alan enters the cabin and finds a rational Al on the floor, but the two merge together when Alan touches him. Realizing that this irrational version of himself came about from the fear of not being able to escape, he realizes that he can't just carry on fearing that and sits down to write a new book called Return. So let's look at our protagonist. As we know already, Alan Wake is a best-selling crime fiction writer who, when the game started, was suffering from 2-year writer's block. We learn through sections in the game that as a kid, Alan was afraid of the dark, so much so that his mother gave him an old light switch named the Clicker, which had the power to banish darkness. Despite not really knowing his father, Alan was given the impression that it belonged to him. This helped Alan overcome his fear of the dark. It was as a child that Alan became best friends with Barry, who of course would later become his agent too. Later on in life, after having his first story published, Alan got a job being a writer in the series on television called Night Springs. His script, which he wrote for his audition, depicted a secret organization called the Federal Bureau of Night Springs, an organization which investigated parallel dimensions. This launched Alan's career, and he wrote a 6-book series called Alex Casey. Alan was actually a violent man and drank heavily. He later met Alice and they got married. After Alan gets writer's block, this leads us to the events of the game, and Alice and Alan head to Bright Falls. This is one name that comes up a lot in the events of Alan Wake. So, who exactly was Thomas Zane? I mean, we only see him in a diving suit occasionally. Thomas Zane, prior to his death, was a well-known poet who wrote a lot about Cauldron Lake.
Yeah, anyway. Did I ever download Alan Wake 2? No, I don't think so.
He wrote these poems with the help of his lover and his muse, Barbara Jagger. This relationship is what inspired the song by the old
Because it's
gods of
only on
Asgard,
Epic, right?
and the muse. This was until Barbara...
Unreal 5.6 looks kind of cool with the metahuman thing. I wonder if, like, a lot of VTubers will now use the metahuman thing in Unreal Engine, because it can just take your camera and make you do the animations for a character, which is quite cool. Mega sale. Right, so Alan Wake 2 Deluxe Edition is on sale, but the normal one isn't. From what I saw earlier. A little more than a rough first draft by comparison, wow. Interesting. Right then. Okay, so almost 5 AM. But right, thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate you guys all very, very much. But right, thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate you all very, very much. And I shall see you guys all next time. Goodbye.